So these are the final blends of the 2010s, and they're going to be in here for another 9 months. So they spend about a total of 18 months in oak, and then once we put them in bottle, we leave them alone for about another year or so. So it's typically almost 3 years before we release a cab.
Do they open them and taste them along the way to figure it out?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you have to like mix it, or is it just constantly
They
mixing itself?
They do stir them as well. They're going to continue working on these wines. Sometimes they rack it for one reason or another, maybe to get the wine off the dead yeast cells, or for topping reasons. Because well, let's talk about this for a second. What is aging? What are we doing when we're aging, right? We're letting the wine more or less breathe in these barrels, because these barrels, they're not just pretty vessels, they actually are an awesome piece of equipment that pulls down tiny, tiny amounts of oxygen in, and that slowly and softly softens the tannins, which is what aging is. It's supposed to, you know, if you're draining your tank and you put a wine glass there and catch it right after fermentation, after the 40 days, it's like super tannic and tart and like makes you pucker. And of course that's and sometimes we do that. We'll taste it, what it tastes like right after fermentation, once it's done and it's ready to go into barrels. And so then over time it softens the tannins. But also what happens is there's evaporation, because it goes up the other way as well. So there's about 3 to 5 gallons per year in evaporation, which is why we have these strong misters going, because it kind of helps to offset the evaporation.
You reload them, refill them?
Yes, and then we keep wine specifically for topping, because oxygen in tiny amounts is your friend, is a good thing. But if I open up this bung right now, that would be terrible. I might oxidize the wine.
Yeah.
So we try to keep it, you know, pretty much right up to the bung hole. So we try not to have any head space in here and have any kind of oxygen gather. So typically when they do top, there'll be somebody following them, and they'll blanket that top layer with like argon or nitrogen or some noble gas, which just blankets any oxygen that's out of there. Yeah. Cool, huh? All right, let's go and taste some wine.